we'll start out with Sid and Aiden taking the now newly christened Blue Jay out and away onto the open sea. One of their goals was initially to get to Haven and just kind of pillage along the way. As you're out at sea, Aiden has, seen you guys do some form of navigating in the past, has done stuff before, has gone on the wheel before and taken it. So he adapts to that role pretty quickly. You kind of start guiding him a little bit, giving him little tips and tricks on things that you've noticed working under Abraham, noticing the other pirates and what they do, what you've done as quartermaster on your ship. As you are just kind of out, maybe testing out the specs of the ship a little bit, just, turning quickly, seeing how long it takes to raise the sails and lower them. Aiden will turn to you and say, so, I guess, what do you do when you don't have a mission?
Well, that's the beauty of it. Sometimes you just are looking for the mission to come to you, right? It's kind of this thing where at one point something will present itself. I mean, this ship itself here, we didn't, we didn't look for this ship to come up. It just happened to appear in the harbor before us, right before the taking.
Right. Okay. So just kind of letting things happen, and obviously following the creed.
Yeah, to the best of your ability.
All right. Okay. Well, I guess that answers that question. When it comes to boarding ships and taking them over, what's the protocol specifically?
Well, what would you think it's going to be?
Well, I mean, probably no killing civilians, hurting them.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean,
you take the treasure. Avoid fighting if you can, but you're boarding a ship.
Sometimes fighting's inevitable, and it's one of those things where, look, I'm not going to tell you any sort of procedure or anything like that, because honestly, it's one of those things you just got to go with your gut feeling, right? It's one of those. No two boardings are the same.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess just another thing that's been kind of weighing on me. How would you deal with other crew members who are maybe not, the best?
Oh, hey, Aiden, we've all been there. We've all had bad days, and are you referring to dubious morals or poor performance?
I guess kind of a mix of both. If he's trying to keep it hushed, talking about other crew members. If there's another person on the ship who you're given a direct order, and obviously we all work as a collective, but there's someone who's in charge during specific times, and they're not listening to you consistently and kind of going against, blatantly going against you, and then being a dickhead, because you'd be a dickhead doing that. What would you do with that?
Sid kind of scooches a little closer, maybe, and he says, "No, which? Just say who it is. Which one do you have an issue with currently?"
Oh no, I'm not saying I have an issue with anyone. It's more just for the future, in case.
There's a reason you're talking in hushed tones. Come on.
Well, it's just more that I just don't want to cause an issue with anyone. I don't want anyone to think I'm speaking of them. Can't have that.
Oh, well, okay. Oh, that's fair. Look, I would personally, I would just take, and if there's some sort of specific thing that you could nail down, I would just point it out to them directly, right? I wouldn't necessarily make a big stink about it. You say, hey, I noticed last time you mopped, you missed the last three planks on the end there, and think about it. I think I've said that exact thing to you, Aiden.
Yeah, you have. I did mop it, but I just figured it was hazing.
Oh, you just mopped it like shit.
Well, probably. You both kind of get a laugh out of that one.
Yeah, I think Sid kind of laughs, and as he laughs, he kind of like lands his hand down on like Aiden's shoulder and kind of like looks at him and takes his hand off, and you know what to do. I promise you, it'll all come to you.
All right. Well, I trust that. It seems there's been plenty of times where all of you just kind of gone off the cuff a bit. So
I didn't have any damn training. I'll give you that.
fair enough. I don't think any of us really did. On the job training, if anything. In the distance, you see a small Imperial ship. Seems to just kind of be like a fast-moving ship, just kind of going on a patrol.
Now, you're the captain here, Aiden. Yes or no? It's an Imperial ship. They might have, something interesting on board, or we could let it go and not face the wrath of the Empire.
Well, it's kind of tough. He's kind of like thinking about it over in his head, and he's like, on one hand, wait.
And Sid puts his hand up to his mouth and he says, "What does your gut say? Don't explain it. What does your gut say?"
My gut says go for it, but be cautious.
Perfect. Boys, we're boarding that ship. It just yells to everyone.
And Aiden, you hear like a cheer go out through the crew, and you hear Aiden say, "All right, lower the mainsails. Get to your stations. Prepare to board." Kind of like, like jumping from one foot to the next. He grabs the wheel as the ship lurches forward, catching the wind. The ship itself, it's like a schooner.
Mm-hmm.
So not like literally probably like a scout ship. Aiden will just like, as you kind of like get closer and see that, Aiden's like, "Right, Captain. Well, no, I guess no, Captain. You're still my captain." The ship is faster than us. So, what tactics should I implement to try and slow it down and get close to it?
Sid kind of stands beside him and is like, "Well, first of all, you got to head him off the pass, right?"
Right.
So-
All right. Sails to port. You see they shift. I'm east starboard, and they switch back. And you see he cuts the wheel, and really like goes right into the wind, and catches all three sails with a very mighty gust that just kind of pushes it forward enough that unless the schooner starts making moves now, it's gonna get boarded. A ship with a a merchant flag flying above it quickly approaches, throws up a completely different black flag with a white bird skull and crossbones against it. Rolls up to the ship. They panic, and in that time of panic, boarding hooks are thrown, and the ship is already being brought in. Crossbow bolts are being launched over onto the deck. Some of the crew members are returning fire as well. Aiden will call out after drawing his two daggers. Right, try not to kill too many unless they're trying to kill you. Get anything that you can. Keep one alive at least. Right, Captain, you ready?
Absolutely. It's kind of my lady goes over there. I'll stay here.
All right. Lady, you ready? Lady will look up.
Yeah. And she's smarter than all of us. She has more money than all of us.
So, Aiden runs to the railing, not even thinking about the fact that the captain's, what is it? God. Is it the poop deck?
Poop deck is the top, the roof of the cabin built near the rear, or the aft. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So not realizing that his aft and the other aft are opposite each other, so he jumps and falls onto the bow and just kind of goes, "Oh shit!" He takes some damage from that. That was a 10-foot fall. 1 damage. He'll draw his daggers and just start kind of like going to town. And you like see his fighting style. Like, you've never really had the opportunity to really watch him fight when he's like in his element. Like, it's always been kind of like goofy, or like you guys have finished the fight before you really got to see him get involved. He is really good at disarming people before they have the opportunity to like actually attack him. So his whole fighting style is like disarm, disarm, disarm. He's like cutting the strings of crossbows. He's just kind of like taking his daggers, putting it into the hilt of the like standard issue Imperial sword, ripping it out of their hands and throwing it off the side of the ship. You've never, like I said, you've never seen this side of him before.
Yeah, I think it probably lends really nicely to Sid's. You know, Sid is like sitting on the railing, like balancing his musket on the railing, like you know, watching and waiting for Aiden to like get you know, like get somebody in. Like if somebody's like close to getting him, Sid just you know.
Sure.
And I think Lady's probably following right behind Aiden.
Yeah,
you know?
so we'll say, you know, at one point there's a moment where Aiden is struggling to disarm this one guy, and someone else comes up behind him ready to stab him. Lady jumps out, grabs him by the leg, and just starts kind of like keeping him in place, and just a shot rings out, and it rips through this guy. Aiden pushes the one guy overboard, turns back to you. Thanks, Captain. Thanks, Lady. And then continues on. After maybe like 10 minutes, everyone's rounded up. People below deck are fought off. Minimal casualties, from what you can see. Probably out of a crew of 20 on the schooner, maybe like 12 of them dead.
Minimal casualties. That's almost 3/4.
Okay, well, comparatively.
That's minimal casualties for a pirate.
Yeah, for a pirate, minimal casualties. You kind of, you know, hop off the ship, getting onto the schooner. Right. It'll tie them up. Which one of you's most in command?
Sid pulls him aside for a second. He says, "Now, Aiden, look, there's always, with these Empire ships, there's always one big wig. You know, and don't let them lie to you. There is always one big wig. They're not quite like us. We're a bit more of a politically different ship than most of your Empire ships."
Right. Well, I know that one of you's in charge. Has to be. One of the guys will kind of pipe up and say, "Well, you did throw the captain overboard. And I believe that fellow," and he just points to like a random crew member, like nods towards him, put a spear right through his chest. So, the captain himself is dead. I suppose that I would be the next highest ranking.
They're always quick to call themselves out, and it's funny because whenever pirates get captured or anything, they always do this thing where they're like, "Which one of you is the leader?" And they can't understand when there isn't a leader, you know. But it's just it's something you got to look out for always.
Right, Captain. And I guess it's, you know, more hubris than anything that they just call themselves out. So,
anyways, do what you want with them.
What can I do to assure that my crew and I go freely and alive? Well, first thing you can do is
The treasure.
Tell us where, if you have any treasure or information that might be suitable. The guy who is now kind of like told himself that he's in charge. No one's like saying no to that, but he's assuming command. Looks over at Sid and just kind of gives him like a look.
Sid puts his hand on his whip on the side of his on his belt.
Mm-hmm. Right. We have a small hold with minimal treasure. We are just a scouting party and a scouting ship. Information, there may be some correspondence with the captain and some others, but for the most part, I can't seem to find any reason why you would even attack us.
Mostly for fun.
Terrifying.
I would hope.
Right, men, go ransack the captain's quarters, try to find something, and check for treasure below deck. After a little while, they come back. It's like a small chest with like, it's locked, and it's kind of like the daily wages of the soldiers. Inside the captain's quarters, you see a couple of patrols on a map that are coming through that the scouting ships were supposed to be looking out for, both pirate and empire. So you do have a lead on a potential grouping of ships that are going through, and you also have a list of ships from their sources that are saying that pirates are going to be passing by.
I will
you
gladly
do see
take
the
all of
corvid
those.
on that list.
What does it say about the corvid?
It says corvid moving from sea meat. Very dangerous. Look out for black hull.
I think Sid would scoop up all of those, and he would. I don't think he'd say anything yet to anybody or anything. He'd just scoop all of them up, maybe roll them all up nicely, maybe stick them inside his coat, and I guess he would go back outside. The crew is ransacking the whole place anyways, and maybe Aiden is Aiden out on the deck.
Yep, he's just kind of pacing in front of these soldiers that are captured. There's a couple of crew members who are just around.
Captain, can I have a word with you?
Yes, of course. Be right back. And he goes off to talk to.
Yeah, we're like within eyesight of them, but he's when we go, if you do decide to ransack their food, you have a choice, right? You can, if you're planning on letting them live, you can leave them with enough food to get to the nearest island you can think of. Just a helpful note, and I don't want to give that to them. I mean, you could have fun with it and have the crew hide the food in different places all over the ship, or something like that. You know, just leave them enough food, but or you could take it all. It's up to you. I mean, this is really developing your style.
Of course. I was actually thinking of taking a page out of your book. When you attacked the ranger, you had us cut the wheel where it connects to the rudder.
Yep, absolutely. Like I said,
leave them all the food, but just be funny. So they're just kind of like moving around, like leave the sails down and everything, keep them tied up.
Yeah,
more for the comedy of
it. Disconnecting the rudder could definitely cause some issues, I think.
Well, they'd have to either cast a spell or go to a dry dock, and these blokes don't like smart enough to cast spells.
Look, you're doing great. And Sid kind of look, go back and get him, and he pushes him over towards the captain. I think everybody's probably done ransacking at this point.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah.
So he'll call out, "All right, men, I need some of you to go cut the rudder line. Take as much of it as you can. As for all of you, we're going to be leaving you here, tied up, with your food, and you have best of luck getting to an island with the wind just blowing you. But that's it, men. Let's get to it. And that's like the most confident that you've seen Aiden. You know, he got props from you. He feels good about his idea. Like, minimal mistakes. Like, this is great. In the battle, Aiden and his crew started with 30, drops down to 26 as 4 of them die in the battle. You know, you get back on the deck. You got the treasure, which it's just a gold chest with 100 gold in it, so it's like nothing. And you all set sail once again. All right. So notes. I'm hoping that I did fine, but you know, note.
Sid grabs him by the shoulders and he says, "Look, I think all it is just a little bit of confidence. You got it all in there, right? You know what to do. I didn't have to. Look, I gave you suggestions and you did a fine thing instead. And that is what I'm looking for, right? That's why we chose you to be the captain of this ship. It's that I know that it's in there, right? You just got to let it out. I think what you need to do, Aiden, is find your style. Whether it be growing a beard, lighting that beard on fire every time you want to, make them afraid. That seems wild. Actually, don't do that. That's a wild fucking thing.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would do that. That would be really kind of dumb.
Could you imagine your face on fire? What if you couldn't get it out accidentally?
You know, it's like the most theater kid thing I've ever heard of.
That makes a lot of sense. How about something sensible? Captain Abraham had a large display of magic and all these sorts of things that really worked on intimidation. Yeah, you could go with something like that, or I don't know, get infected with lycanthropy, right? Just become a werewolf or something. I don't know, whatever the hell you want.
Okay. I don't think I'll do that, but thanks for the suggestion.
Vampirism?
A bit hard to be out in the sun.
Between you and me, I still think that Captain Morris is a vampire. And it's totally acceptable. Think of it. We have rules specifically built in that are good for vampires, right? So you can do it. Look, whatever your style is, whether it's that or a little less audacious, it's
Right. I mean, I'm almost like adapting things I learned under you as well. So, kind of like taking your tactics and kind of twisting them. Your tactics seem to rely on a lot of luck, though.
It is solely just luck. That's the problem with relying on our tactics. We just do dumb shit. And then once we do that dumb shit, we just hope it works out. And it has only worked out in our favor so far. And it has never not worked out. And that's the one day it doesn't work out, that's what I'm afraid of. If you want to know my internal fears, we just do a lot of shit without planning. That, Pharaoh came onto the ship and, wanted to talk about plans and all those sorts of things. And it made me really think about how, man, we really didn't do anything with any sort of plans, and it's just kind of become our brand to not have a plan now. It's just one of those. It's one of those things that you'll find it. You'll find it yourself. You'll find yourself in this, and you'll know exactly how you want to board ships and how you want to send the fear down the spine of your enemies. That's all you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Well, in the meantime, what's our goal here?
Our goal? Well, remember we're heading back to Haven to outfit this ship with a full crew, and we're also looking for anything to do. Like I said, I guess this goes back to that. We've had a lot of things fall in our lap, and we haven't had to think about what's next. And it may not be great advice for leadership, but things tend to happen.
I will say that a lot of those patrol headings that you have on your sheet that are pirate ships, if you were to hurry before where the interception is supposed to take place, it seems that you could make it to 2 of them to warn them.
Well, remembering that those exist, I think Sid would pull them out and be like, "Oh, look, take these and pour them over. You pick our next target. Here, these are some Empire movements. This is your ship, and I think you should dictate where we're going and who we should go after. But I picked these up on the desk of that captain. I don't even really know which one it was. I guess if we did throw him overboard, I didn't think about whether that guy was lying or not. That's usually one of my specialties, but it could have been the captain for all I know. But I don't think it really mattered, to be honest with you.
I'm nervous if we don't go and warn them, then if we get into a fight helping them, we wouldn't have time to get to the next one. So I think we should go for this one, the closest one of ours, and warn them, let them know, and potentially save a crew.
Absolutely, and it's exactly what we should do.
All right, men, and he gives out the heading of where you guys are going. So on the list, you see that the Arrow is one of the ships that is potentially in danger, and that is one of the ships under Mayfield Tillman. Then you see that one of them is Gavitas of the Polaris, who used to be under Starbreeze and is now under Abraham. You guys head off towards your first ship target, one of the pirate ships that you're trying to save. As you get within range of this ship, you see that this one in particular is of the Arrow. So it goes, the Arrow is the closest, and the Polaris was the second furthest. You throw up the League flag, showing them who you are. They do the same. And it would be... Gosh, who is the captain? Captain Colas will come up to the side.
Hey! How goes it out there?
It's wonderful.
Well, that's good to hear. You're one of the captains on the Corvid, right?
Yes, or what of it?
Well, I'm surprised to see you on a different ship, that's all.
You gotta have ships underneath you, correct?
Fair enough. I wasn't aware that you guys were looking to expand, but hey, if you find a nice ship like that one, why not?
Oh, yeah, it was some religious fellows, temple or something along those lines. But problem is it far too easy to steal from a religious man, I guess. Something about a curse of the whale or something along those lines. I don't know. My colleague had told me about the way he convinced him. And I was also, not to be confused, a whale at the time too, but not the whale. I was a whale.
I think this pretty much matches up with every description I've been heard about your antics and given about your antics. So this all tracks.
Yeah. Well, we had Aiden, our new captain here, Aiden.
Hi there.
And I had lots of conversations about our tactics, and it's one of those things where I don't know if I could truly nail down our tactics. So yeah, I believe it's in line. Yeah.
Fair enough. If we weren't so regimented, I'd probably try to be a little more guerrilla about my fighting tactics, but it is what it is. So, why'd you flag us down? What's going on? Any news?
So look, we intercepted an Imperial ship and found, we found some information that the Empire was tracking the movements of several different ships. And I think that, your permission to come aboard, I think we should show you, all of the information the Empire has, including about your ship. And hopefully, we can give this to you. You can avert any disaster, as well as it's possible too. You could go on and also spread this information, because we're the Corvid is also on this list, so we're on a way to intercept the Corvid. But I think you should really take a look and maybe help out some of our fellow pirates.
Of course. All right. Let me take a look at that list. Come on aboard, and he'll bring you into the captain's quarters. He just has like a very simple table that you, or like more of a desk really, that you guys throw the map down on, and the list next to. And he'll say, well, I think I know why we got noticed for this one. We're a little slow getting our Roger down. I think a merchant ship saw us and probably reported us.
That's very likely. I think you should just keep an eye out regardless. If you want to do any, I don't know if you have any of magic users on board, all able to alter the ship in any way, just to mask yourself for a little while or something along those lines.
Right. All right. Well, we'll probably cut back up northeast anyway. There wasn't really much that we were going to check out down here.
Oh, that's a lovely plan, I think. Anyways.
Well, we'll try and intercept. Let's see here. Well, there's not really any named ships on here that you are not actively going towards. So we'll just try and track down maybe this group. And you see that there's like a small flotilla, no specific names listed. And we'll say we'll just warn them, and hopefully, they can just follow us back to a safe port.
Well, that's a noble deed.
Yeah, nothing noble about it. It's all about the creed, right?
Exactly. Well, the noble is a expression,
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not used to such fancy talk on my ship.
Oh, fair enough, I suppose.
All right, well, we better get moving if we're gonna try and intercept them. And if you're going after the Corvid and the Polaris, you better hurry up.
Oh, we're on our way. Thank you. And Sid, gives him the standard issue pirate knuckle bump, and
The standard issue pirate dap up.
Yeah.